What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my new studio. As you can see, the studio has changed quite a bit from where we were. We're in a brand new house and I have a brand new setup. So if you want to see a studio tour, let me know. There's a lot going on here. We have dual desks and all sorts, dual PCs, and I'd love to give you a quick tour. But today we're checking out Codespaces. Codespaces is a brand new feature from the team over at GitHub and Microsoft, and it allows you to run Visual Studio Code in your web browser using a VM, giving you high performance with the ability to use it anywhere. So here we are on the Codespaces website. As you can see, it is Visual Studio Code backed by high performance VMs that start in seconds. Now, I just got invited to the private beta for this, but I think it's something that we should cover here. Now, if you've used something like Getpod before, or maybe CodePen or StackBlitz, there's a lot of them out there. Getpod seems to be the most popular at the moment, which allows you to do essentially the same thing. What's great about this is that, yeah, you can run it in a browser. So regardless if you're using an iPad, an Android tablet, an old PC, or a Chromebook, you can still have the performance of somebody with a Studio Mac. So here we have the options. We can actually run this in our desktop as well, which I'll show a bit later on. But essentially, you get to either run it in your web browser or through the desktop. And if you think about where development is in the world and we're all online and there's a lot of remote work, it makes it really easy to just have a container that everyone can work from. It's exactly the same and there's no more of this. Well, it works on my machine, but it doesn't work on his. All that kind of goes away. So in theory, it's supposed to be faster than your laptop. You get about 32 gigs of storage by default. And you can go all the way up to 32 cores, which is ridiculous, as well as 64 gigs of RAM. So if you need something that's really hardworking, this could be for you. On top of that, you can standardize the dev environments, as I explained, so everything works exactly the same regardless of who or what you are. And that means no more arguments about it works on my machine, but it doesn't work on yours. So a great feature is it allows you to port forward your local host to another URL. So this gives you the ability to essentially share private or public URLs with the world, and people can see exactly what you're working on. This would be the same as, say, something like ngrok or port forwarder, anything like that. It's the same idea. It gives you the ability to share those ports around. So you're probably wondering about pricing. So we can talk about that real quick. So right now in the beta, it's 100% free and it has a specific kind of VM that you can choose, and you have to contact them if you want to use anything but the one that they give you, which I believe is the second lowest tier, but it's been pretty performant when I've been testing. So for pricing, it starts at 18 cents an hour and goes all the way up to $2.88 per hour for the super duper 32 cores, 64 gigs of RAM, and a lot more storage. And that's based upon each isolated VM. So for each VM, it costs that much. So with that in mind, if you were to just run the basic 2-core, 4 gig RAM for 8 hours a day for 30 days, just on an average of a month, it costs you about $43 to run it every day of the week for 8 hours. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't code 8 hours a day solid, and I certainly don't code every day of the week. So this could be cheaper than buying a new laptop. So I've talked about Codespaces. Now it's time to actually dig in. So let's look at how Codespaces actually works. So Codespaces essentially allows you to pull any GitHub repo that you have, private or public, and use them as you see fit. Currently, I have this 4-core active for a example tutorial that I wrote on the Mantine tutorial. If you haven't checked it out, I've put a link top right-hand corner. So let's click this and let's see what happens. So what happens is it sets up the Codespace and connects it. And I'm live in my VM now. So this VM is running in my web. I can look at the code. So for example, we can go here. Here's an app.js. And it's also syncing everything that I have. So this is actually synced with my Visual Studio Code options. So everything has been installed. So if I go to extensions and see what's installed, I've got Midnight Synth, which is my favorite theme, and a bunch of other stuff. So now you can even do commands using the same key bindings as you did before. So things like Command J will open up the terminal, and we can do yarn dev and run this. And it says this port is now available, see all forwarded ports. So I can open the browser here and it will forward this from localhost 3000 to the actual port. So in a second, it should launch the actual application and I should be able to use it as I need. So here we have the Mantine tutorial, and you can see everything kind of is here in the code. And we can go and change something by going to the Explorer and maybe going to index. And let's see here, let's find some sort of code to change. The application container here has a title, and we could change this list time to maybe other time and hit save. And in theory, because this is running here, if we go here, and you can see now in the bottom right hand corner, this has changed. So everything is working as if I was running this locally. Now, talking about running it locally, to run this code space locally, all you have to do is click this button here at the bottom. And what it will do will say, hey, well, how do you want to do this? So you can rebuild the containers, you can add configurations, you can stop it, you can go to the repository, you can go back to my code spaces, or it has this option here, open with VS Code. So it will say, do you want to do this? And I'm going to click allow and click open, and then click open here. And what will happen is this tutorial will now open up and connect remotely to this code space. So now I am in the code space still, and this code is being run remotely. So now I can just basically, make some changes wherever I need to. Let's say record code spaces, hit save, and close this. And if we refresh this, you can now see this record code spaces has been changed. Even though I'm running it locally on my machine, I'm still using the remote code spaces. So there you have it. Visual Studio Code in your browser wherever you need it. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop it a like, comment on more things you want to see in the Jamstack, and until next time, see ya.